Hi guys, it's only us. How are you, Harry?
Doing better.
Good. How's the old Peggy?
It's almost, I mean, I can't really feel any more swelling under the jaw, so under the
Cool.
chin.
Cool. Right, welcome back everybody. Big shout out to all our new subscribers. Thanks for joining us. Hey, I got to show you something before we start, Harry. Have you ever seen grapes like this?
Not that I say I have ever seen, no.
I mean, I saw them in the supermarket today. I thought, what the actual F? The grapes. I mean, they're like bloody hot dogs.
Yeah, it looks like your finger, your little finger.
Yeah, insane. It tastes all right, but all right. So well, thanks for all your comments on the last one, guys. We always appreciate your comments. It was pretty good, and some of the stuff that we're working on right now is just off the charts. I want to say a big, huge thank you to Logan over on Decode Your Reality. I mean, his Prison Planet 2 and the one that he did a couple of days ago called Decoding. He decoded that. Remember that Cars song, Harry, called You're Just What I Needed?
Yeah.
And he's given me so many ideas. It's absolutely insane. So, but anyway, bro, this one is over to you. You're going to share your screen and show us what you've been working on.
Yes. All right. So we've been talking about extremities, extremes, coins, two sides of a coin. We've been talking about higher self, avatars, but mainly we're talking about polarity. We're talking about the positive, the negative, and that's where we're going to be focusing today on the extremes. So I just kind of ran into a video. I think you had shared it with me, and it depicted the goddess Artemis. And I thought, Artemis. Okay, all right. I'm not really familiar too much with just the basics of Artemis. So I started to just look into it. So I thought, Artemis now. And I said, why? Because our time is now.
Yeah.
So right now is the time that we have to really focus on doing the right things when it comes to things like this, and just in the proper diet, staying healthy, and avoiding those white-coated priests, right?
Oh yeah.
We want to avoid them at all costs.
Without a doubt.
I looked at this is a depiction or a statue of Artemis, and this is the goddess, quote unquote, of the hunt, wilderness, animals, the moon, and chastity. So the fact that we see she is the goddess of the moon, from the very outset, we see that there's a connection. But the moon comes with other mysteries of the darkness. So wilderness paints a picture of danger. Moonlight provides the vision of shadows rather than reality. And wild animals pose the greatest danger to man, or maybe just an exciting hunt. And if a goddess is so stealthy enough that she can hunt wild animals in the moonlight while in the wilderness, and still she's going to most likely be chased. So these are all characteristics that Artemis has, all of the following above. Or is there another reason why Artemis wants to be in complete solitude? And we're going to go into that. So Artemis is different from the other gods and has to be separate from the other 11 in order to hide something that is slightly different in her nature. This is the reason that Artemis is unapproachable. So we were kind of looking at some Bible verses last week, and you had mentioned that in Acts, it mentions Artemis. So I looked it up and I brought out my Greek concordant text. And, you were defining dog Latin, remember?
Yeah.
Dog Latin is in all caps.
Yep.
Well, in this concordant text, I noticed that all the Greek letters are only in caps. So that means that this is this is Greek, dog Greek, right?
Yeah.
So no spaces in the words, but I could find where the chapter divisions are. So I expanded it, and I looked and I find Artemis. So they do a translation below Artemis, but when you read it in the Greek, it doesn't say Artemis. It says Artemidos. Now, the translation is in English Artemis, but Artemidos is strikingly masculine in this version.
Could be both. Could be hermaphrodite.
Yeah. So in this verse, I'm not going to read it to you in the Greek, but I'll kind of paraphrase what they're talking about. So in this Acts 19:27, there is a dialogue between someone who's, I think, preaching Paul's teachings, and the non-believers and the believers in Artemis. So the paraphrase is, there is a danger that our trading reputation will be damaged, and that the temple of the goddess Artemis will be discredited and lose the divine majesty. So what are they talking about? They're talking about commerce. They are worried that if the believers switch onto this new religion, then it's going to damage the business aspect of the belief in Artemis.
Yeah, so the word temple there is going to be coming up in in the stuff that I'm working on.
That's right.
Temp L. Remember, God is L. Temporary. Temp L. Temple. Okay.
Yep. That is going to be something to look forward to. So, who is Artemis? Artemis is the daughter of Zeus and a human named Leto, and the twin sister of Apollo. And I did put a question mark right next to the word twin.
Yeah, we'll come back when you finish the presentation. We'll come back to that, because I want to ask everybody listening to this a question.
Yeah. Okay. And I do have another slide where we will focus on this, but we can wait till the end too. She was also considered the patron goddess, protector of young girls, and she was also the goddess of childbirth and midwifery. She's also she also said she preferred to remain a maiden and sworn never to marry. And then I put a question mark here again. Why would this goddess never want to marry? Kind of intriguing. So Artemis was one of the most widely venerated of all the goddesses.
And isn't that word venerate, isn't that very close to venereal, as in she was sworn never to marry? Maybe she's got a venereal problem.
Could be, it could be. So she was venerated by the Greek, one of the most venerated Greek deities, with the temple at Ephesus being named one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. I can't think of another god of the time that had any of the wonders of the world named for them. But Artemis's symbols include the bow and arrow, the quiver, hunting knives, spears, the deer, and even in the Roman version, which is named Diana, at the place near Rome called Aventine Hill, near Lake Nemi and Campania. If you recall, we had, I think we discussed one time that many warriors would go into these boats, sometimes in these lakes, and they would do black magic. And this area called Campania near Aventine Hill is very similar to like the Hollywood Hills area in terms of the landscape. A lot of people say that the holly tree grows over there, and that's where a lot of the black magic that we see in Hollywood today stems from that area of the world.
There's some, interesting words there. Bow and arrow, bow. You bow. Arrow, and a quiver. I mean, a quiver is the bag that holds the arrows, but to quiver also means to shake, doesn't it?
Yep, it sure does. And then we all know that bow is also a word in sailing in like a boat.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
The bow. So that has to do with commerce.
Yeah. Oh, it's all to do with commerce, bro. All of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So let's look at some of the people who surround the character of Artemis. We see her father, Zeus, Hera, which is Zeus's wife. We see Leto, which is Artemis's mom, and we see Apollo, which is Artemis's twin brother. So I'm not going to read the stuff to the right, but you can stop the video and look at that. But in a nutshell, I'm going to just paraphrase it. So Zeus's wife, Hera, is irate. She's furious that Zeus made it with Leto and had twin offspring, Apollo and Artemis. So the question arises, and this is where we're going to go back now. We can touch on this now and then at the end.
Yeah.
Artemis was born first, or was Apollo born first? That's the question that most people ask, but that's not what I'm wondering. Since we've been talking about higher self and avatars, if your twin is born and it's the opposite sex and you're both on Earth, does that mean that you don't have a higher self?
Well, I asked that question to Kim from the Bard, and we were talking, and I said, "What do you think?" And she said, "Well, you'd be fucking stupid if you incarnated, if your whole being, your 50% male, 50% female energy, if all of it incarnated into this realm as boy and girl twins, you wouldn't have a higher self. So it would be a pretty stupid thing to do." And I totally agree with her. Totally agree with her. So the question is, Harry, and the question to the guys watching this: how many people have you ever come across during your life who's either given birth to male and female twins, identical twins, or is a twin that has a sibling of the opposite gender? Because I think it's very, 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 very rare. I mean, the silence, or sorry, did I say silence then? I meant to say science is going to give it away. It's going to wash it under the carpet with stuff about X and Y chromosomes and all this kind of nonsense. But I think it's a valid question. Since, as you say, Harry, we have been talking a lot about the higher self. And if, as you say, if twins of the opposite gender are born into this realm, does that mean they don't have one? Now,
yeah. And who would guide them? You'd have to guide each other, right?
Well, yeah, but when we talk about a certain race or certain creation from Genesis 1:27, we kind of come around to the idea that they're stuck here. They're stuck in the reincarnation trap. They can't get out, which is why they plan things 100, 200, 300 years in advance.
Yeah. Well, we have another set of twins. Another set of twins that we've seen in that whole realm is Hermes and Aphrodite. And then when we combine those two words, that's where we get the word hermaphrodite. So it could be that they're trying to tell us this in a occult manner. And it's just so in your face that you just don't see it.
I agree.
Yeah. So let's just go into a little bit of the backstory on what Artemis was doing in some of her antics. So there was a young boy named Cyprodius, and he either accidentally saw Artemis bathing, or he may have even, again, based on the stories, he may have attempted to rape her. And because of that, she turned him into a girl.
Well, that's what you do, right? That's exactly, girls. If anybody tries to do that to you, turn them into a girl. No problem.
Yeah. Wait, does that mean You cut something off?
I think so. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. And then there was another young guy. His name was Actaeon, and he was supposedly one of the greatest hunters of the time. And because of some transgression, she turns him into a stag. Again,
Yeah.
this is one of her symbols.
Yeah, and I know somebody out there, probably someone like Jeanette or Vivi, is going to tell us why. You know, when I mentioned those two awesome people because they're well versed in many languages. Why do we call it a stag night? When guys have a party, an all male party before they get married, why do we call it a stag night? There's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason. But anyway, I'm
Or how
digressing.
about this? Yeah, you go to your stag party, right? You're going to get married the next day, the bachelor party, right?
Mm.
And you've had so much to drink that now you're staggering.
Yeah. I forget what do they call the girls' version of a stag night? I forgot.
It's
Been that long.
Yeah, it has been, huh?
Somebody will put it in the comments. Somebody will post it in the comments. I've forgotten. Yeah.
Yeah. So she ends up turning him into a stag, which is one of her symbols. But what happens, because he was such a great hunter, he had teams of dogs that helped him on his hunt. What do? They don't recognize him anymore. Oh, it's a bachelorette party, by the way.
Oh, not in the UK. It's not.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the dogs, because they don't recognize him, they eat him, they devour him and kill him. So this is a quick little historical background of what her antics were.
The dogs had a party. You know, I'll tell you about the dogs' party when you finish.
Okay. Well, I went to the next screen. You want to do your
Yeah,
dog
no.
party?
I'll do the dog party at the end.
Okay. So we can see that at one point Artemis then asks Zeus for 10 wishes, and I'll run through some of them real quick. She wanted to always remain a virgin. She wanted to have many names. She wanted to have a bow and arrow to be crafted by the Cyclops. She wanted to be a light bearer. Ah, whoa, there we go. That's a clue right there.
Oh yeah.
She wanted to be what's called a phosphoria or phosphorus, and that is a light bringer.
Wow.
She also wanted a short knee-length tunic for ease of hunt. That sounds kind of strange.
It does.
She wanted to have 60 daughters, but again, never be married. Kind of a different thing, but all 60 daughters, all to be 9 years of age.
Oh,
so
69. 60. Nothing to stay here. Please move along.
She wanted to also have 20 handmaidens to watch her hunting dogs. Let's see what else. She wanted to be always assigned to be available for the birthing mothers. She always wanted to help them, and the ability to help women in the pains of childbirth. So she wanted to be in the spirit, or was that spirit?
Yeah, she doesn't want much, does she?
Spirit.
Yeah,
in the spirit.
In the spirit. Yeah, I'm just saying she doesn't want much, does she? There's not much to ask of your father, I suppose. No, not at all.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
The number one is to remain a virgin, but she wants 60 daughters.
9 years old. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Artemis, if you read it backwards, is Symmetra. All right. So to me, it looks like symmetry.
Yeah.
Or two sides of the same coin, because coins are pretty symmetrical. You have a heads and a tails, but they look identical. She was also depicted with the crescent moon behind her, as we see right up here. Crescent moon. And so Artemis may well just reveal herself to be Satan. She is the moon of sin, the polar opposite of God.
What's that white line that you've got next to many? Is that blocking something out, or is it just?
Yeah, it was just it was imperfection in where I found the screenshot, and
Oh,
I just figured I was going to block it out because it was just some kind of error in the data.
okay.
So, a shepherd. Is the shepherd a comforter or is he a butcher? When we look at some of the Greek writers and we look at etymology, a lot of them will take the name Artemis and have its origin sound like Artamos. And Artamos means butcher. But people like Plato say that Artemis is more of Artemis, which means safe, unharmed, uninjured, pure, or a stainless maiden. So you can take it for what it is. I personally think that the shepherd is a hunter butcher.
Jesus was a shepherd, wasn't he? Jesus was a shepherd. Yeah.
We hear about the shepherd who left his 99 to go and find the missing one. Right?
Yeah.
And so I would think, well, why would you leave your 99 just for the one? Well, it's all about commerce.
Money,
It's
money,
about
money.
the bottom line. What good would it do if you even lost one? That would break down your profit margin.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So he had to go out there and get that one missing rogue sheep and bring it back, and use his hooked cane and teach it a lesson for going astray. All right, so crossroads. When we think of a crossroads, we think of bad luck. So when you watch a horror movie, and I wrote
horror movies. Yeah. Okay.
And you see a Catholic priest, or even just a depiction of a cross. Nigel, what's the next scene that's going to happen?
Oh, it's got to involve death, I would think. Got to. Oh, there we go. What a surprise.
Someone dies. But why? Because they're showing you that at the crossroads to that reincarnation trap cycle is the other extreme polarity. Well, look at a cross. A cross, if you cut the cross in half, isn't it symmetrical?
Yeah.
It's the same on both sides.
Yep.
So you're just on opposite extreme sides of the same cross.
Yep.
So because of this, though, I want to look at a particular song where someone comes to a crossroad and
yeah, that Depeche Mode one that you were telling me about. Yeah, that's it. Blasphemous Rumors. Yes. Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. Oh wow.
All right. So we get to an important age in a girl's life, which is usually 16, like the sweet 16. So the lyrics go like this: a girl of 16, whole life ahead of her, slashes her wrists, bored with life. Didn't succeed, and I'm going to focus on this word a little bit later. Thank the Lord for small mercies. Now, when you think of the word mercies, you think of someone, is going to give you mercy. But what else does mercy mean?
Well, in French, it means thank you. Mercy, yeah. Merci.
Merci, yes. So this was almost an offering, almost a ritualistic offering at age 16. But, he kind of gave grace and said, no, not yet. So fighting back the tears, mother reads the note again, 16 candles burning your mind. She takes the blame. It's always the same. She goes down on her knees and prays.
Well, what do you go down on? You go down on your knees to succeed. Oh, it's all there, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry, girls, but we're just dealing with the English here. I know what's coming to your mind, but I mean, it's all there. I mean, how do you succeed? Well, you succeed. We spoke about this in a previous podcast, but it's right there. She goes down on her knees and prays.
Yeah. So if you want to succeed in the corporate world, or even in show business, they always say that you have to try to succeed. And so that's one term that I try to never, ever use.
Well,
when I'm talking to people who climb the ladder.
Yeah, but blowjobs, the actually the opposite, isn't it? You think about it. Why do they call it that?
Well, I think the whole point is we see that as a ritual. You know, the priests who were indoctrinating their little young altar boys.
Oh, I've just thought the word blow, below, below,
Below,
below.
yeah,
There you
below.
go. There's the answer.
Yeah.
Below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't want to start any blasphemous rumors, but I think that God's got a sick sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
So I underline sick because it sounds like six.
Well, this is interesting because this is what Logan talks about. I mean, I've mentioned it before over on his channel. He's got 3 videos called God is a Comedian, parts 1, 2, and 3. And I think the longest one is 5 minutes. The other 2 are just 2 or 3 minutes long. And he's demonstrated it that God has got a sick sense of humor. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Yep. Sixth sense of humor. And again, the six sounds like sick and it sounds like sex.
Yeah.
So all 3 of those, it's programming you for a certain mindset.
Yeah.
So he says that his humor is so sick that when I die, I expect to find him laughing.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about if you put an S in front of laughing or laughter, you get the word slaughter, right?
Slaughter. Yeah.
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 So
And another one that I saw today, the word was surprising, right? Surprising. Now I know it's S-U-R, but if you remove the S, you almost get uprising.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Uprising, surprising.
Yeah.
So the laughter is because this is a comedy. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a sick comedy. And when you take the word comedy, and I think I've said this to the point where some people can already know what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
The Latin form of the word to eat is comer. And that's where we get the word comedy from. So it's about dark comedy.
Well,
and they're eating.
What is a baby called when it's still in the womb, Harry?
Embryo, fetus. Oh, fetus. Yeah, fetus.
A fetus.
Yes.
A fetus, which sounds like feed us. Feed us.
That's right.
No coincidences.
All right. So we move.
Which is why the Federal Reserve is known as the Fed.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, 2 years later, the girl of 18 fell in love with everything. And this is where she gets to the crossroad. She found new life in Jesus Christ.
Oh.
So this is her reborn again, new life. She's at the crossroads. So, but what happens when she meets Jesus?
Oh.
She gets hit by a car, ends up on a life support machine. So that was the springtime, the rebirth. She's reborn and she ends up dying that summer. She's in a new recycle mode. So that summer's day, as she passed away, birds were singing in the summer sky. Then came the rain, and once again, a tear fell from her mother's eye. So we see that this girl ends up meeting at the crossroads, meeting the extreme other side, and she gets pulled into this sick, sex, divine comedy by this demiurge with an insatiable appetite for this type of humor.
Yeah, and guys, if you haven't watched our podcast called Sex in the Sit Eye, you really need to go back and watch it. I think it's number 61. But, you know, it's funny we were talking about the dogs again, right? And I mentioned the dog's party. Now, it's interesting that when I was a kid, I mean, growing up in the UK, if you went out on, say, a Friday or a Saturday night trying to, just trying to meet girls, the slang name for it was chasing tail. He's out chasing tail every Friday night. Means he's out trying to find someone to
Partner, a partner.
Yeah, well, not necessarily a partner, but just, you know, someone for the night. So it was called Chasing Tail. And there was somebody that wrote, I don't know if it was a song or a poem, but I've never forgot it. And it's the dogs, they had a party. They came from near and far. And some dogs came by aeroplane and some by motor car. This is going back to the stag night dogs thing. They went into the lobby and they signed the visitor's book, and each one hung his arsehole upon a separate hook. One dog was not invited, and this aroused his ire. He rushed into the meeting place and loudly shouted fire. The dogs were so excited they had no time to look, and each one took an arsehole from off a different hook. Now, this is a sad, sad story, for it is very sore to wear another's arsehole you've never worn before. And that is why when dogs meet on land or sea or foam, each sniffs the other's arsehole and hopes it is his own. Surprised I can remember that.
Me too. So anyway, the whole point of this is to show that we are connected with extremes. Okay, we got that good side, we got the bad side, angel, devil on the shoulders. But what do we have in the middle? Right between the two.
The lights.
Don't go to these sides. Okay, you go right down the middle.
Yep.
God is not out there.
No,
he's in here.
Well, this is something that I've been working on this week, and I haven't done a presentation or anything on it yet, but I'll give you a little bit of an insight. You know how we say that God, El, Elohim, El is God, right? Well, look at the male and female, male, female. You know, we're trapped in this circle, this reincarnation circle. Where's God? In a temple. What's an anime? Anime. It's a moving picture, like a cartoon, right? Anime L. Animal. Anime L. I mean, I might be stretching here, guys, but I really don't think I am. The what they tell us is up there is called the solar system. How about soul law system? SOULLURE. Real, when we go fishing. Real, everything's about redo, reincarnation. Think of how many words begin with re, to do over, to do again. Yeah.
Religion.
Religion. Real. You know, which is fishing. And what do you use for fishing? A lure. Soul lure system. Yeah. I mean, you know, I've got a lot of work to do on this, but that's just kind of what I'm playing with at the moment, right? Now, and the other thing that I want to mention was, you know how we were talking about Lucifer, right? Well, oh God, Mike, my mate Mike from Sherlock's Apprentice, he ripped me a new one for not. When we did the last one, you remember I showed Revelation 3:16, I shall spew you out of my mouth. SPEW does give the same result, but so I wondered why it was spelled SPUE and not SPEW, when, as Mike told me, he said, "Nigel, you're a fucking idiot. It's the same result." So there had to be a reason why it's spelled SPUE, because that has to be pronounced spew. If it was SPEW, it could spoo, which doesn't have the y sound in it. So the SPUE is spew out of my mouth, right? Not that spoo. So I wanted to mention that. And the other thing I wanted to mention about the Lucifer, the son of the morning that weakens the nations. Well, what do we get from the sun? Ra, radiation. Ra, radiation. What does radiation do? It weakens. It's all there in the language. It's been there all the time and we've never seen it. Logan brings in the elements, the 7 elements. L-E-L-E, ment. Ment, we know, is mind, the mind of El. the mind of God, the elements. We're made up of elements, primarily carbon, we know. So, element, the mind of God, for want of a better word, but male and female, we are the gods, Harry. Why are we looking out there for a savior or for a God when, even in the Bible, it says, know ye not ye are gods? What's the matter with you guys? What's the matter with you guys?
Well, just like we've said in the past, if Christ was the light bringer and Lucifer was the light bearer, they're both bringing light.
Yeah.
Right. But they're bringing the wrong kind, because we shouldn't be looking for their light. This phosphorus is not ours.
No.
We need to have our own.
No, but you know what we're missing? What we've been missing all the time. When we use the word bear, the light bearer, that we're using the word bear in the context of carry, right? But what about I can't bear it?
Yeah, I can't stand it. Yeah.
It's the same word. It's the same word. The light bearer. Is he bearing the light, bringing it? Yeah. Or is he having to bear? You've got to grin and bear it.
Yeah.
Don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. All right. Well, look, we've been going long enough, I think, bro. We don't want
let me finish with one thing. So when Zeus is talking to his brother Poseidon in that movie, was Clash of the Titans?
Yeah.
Was that the one?
I think it was, yes.
So they are in despair. Zeus and all the other gods are losing their power. Do you remember what was causing that?
Because people stopped worshiping them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's exactly.
I think it was Clash of the Titans. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't that, it was one of those God movies. But when Zeus, he is talking to his brother Poseidon and saying that he has to do something to get the people to start praying for them again, because if they are forgotten and stop praying, what happens? They will disappear. Yeah. And that is the biggest fear, I think, of these demiurge false gods. They are so afraid. They're so afraid. They're so afraid of having people forget them that they keep us in this recycle mode so that we keep coming back for more.
Yeah, I think it was Liam Neeson that played Zeus in that.
That's right.
I think it was Clash of the Titans. All right, guys. Well, look, we'll leave it there. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, all feedback. We love your feedback. And we will be back in a few days, hopefully with some of this crazy circle, female, male. All right, so we'll see you soon. Cheers, guys. We love you all. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.